Grand Rising Soul Tribe, Tracy here with Sweet Spot e-magazine. Thank you so very much for the likes, the shares, views, subscribes, comments, the generous donations in all forms, everything. I appreciate it all. Let's go ahead and ring this bell. Let's clear out the energy, and then we'll see what the message that Spirit has for us this morning or whenever you happen to see this. Somebody had a warning. And it's clear as a bell. Imagine that you had a dream last night and it seems so real. And you knew it was a dream that was from God. Hi, Rose Glitter. You knew it was a dream that was from God. And the dream started off great. But then somewhere along the way, it started to get a little dangerous. It started to get a little drab, dreary. And then at the end of that dream, it was almost like everything was burning down. You know, buildings were falling, fires were happening. And you just remember, seeing yourself like in pain, in misery, and in deep regret. I feel that somebody had a dream about how they are ruining their life. Hey, Ayana. Not how somebody else is ruining it, but how somebody is the one person that's in control of their life and how they are ruining it. Bottom of the deck, the Wheel of Fortune. How somebody is ruining their own life. What they are doing to cause the Wheel of Fortune to turn the opposite way. Like I said, it starts off wonderful. It starts off that wish fulfillment on both ends. It starts off like it couldn't be any better. Their life couldn't have been any better. And then something happens. It's like they stop. They stop trying. They stop caring. They stop paying attention. They stop noticing. Hey, Ayana. Hi, Helga. It's almost like they start working with people that are placing them where they feel like they can't do any better. Making them feel afraid of their own shadow. Hold on, I have to sneeze. Excuse me. It's like somebody is making them afraid of their own shadow. But this person realizes that they have to be strong. They have to be the one that has the courage. They have to be the one that it is not weak mind, weak willed. They have to be the one that is not allowing people to place their fears on them. Somebody woke up in more ways than one. Not just out of the dream, but they woke up to the life that they were living. They woke up to what they are doing and how it is affecting them. Hey, High Priestess. See, somebody, they failed to realize it's almost like they had some type of blindfold on Whenever they thought they was out here doing the most and it was affecting other people, like they was able to get back at somebody else, they was able to make somebody else's life a living hell, like they was able to take somebody else's joy, like they was able to mess something else up for somebody, or make these wonderful opportunities for somebody else go away, when they failed to realize they were doing it to themselves. I feel like there was a team of angels that came in this dream, a team of angels that were around them, like consoling them, a team of angels that were there trying to whisper to them, trying to let them see that, your life does not have to be like this. You don't have to accept this. You can change this. This is not you. You have a different path. You have a purpose, a angelic purpose. See, somebody is afraid to deal with their pain. And that not dealing with their pain is getting them where their life is not moving forward. It's getting them, and I feel like this dream was so that somebody could actually get a bird's eye view of where they were taking themselves. Because sometimes that's what we need. We need to see it from a higher perspective, because, sometimes when we're looking at the street, like with Google Maps and Google Street View. When we are looking at the street view, all we can see is that road. But when we look at the aerial view from the top looking down, we can see that road, the next road, this road, that road, the highways over here. Here's the river over here. We can see that there's a farmland over there. We can see the different stores, the different gas stations. We can see it's so much better when we take that aerial view. And I feel that God had to show somebody from an aerial view how they was fucking themselves up. Hey, Melissa. See, somebody wanted to be in this happy place with the 10 of cups, this king of cups. They want their life to be wonderful. They want their life to be sweet. They want their life to be uncomplicated, no drama, no trauma. The wish fulfillment. They want to feel like they got that joy in their heart, that they can love and that they are loved. But what this person needs to think about or realize is, what are you doing to get there? Somebody had to take an aerial view to see where they were actually going. This is when someone made a judgment call about their life, about their own stability, about their own family, about what, they wanted to have the blessings on their life be. This is when someone decided that, you know what? They needed to have that. They were glad to have that aerial view. They were glad to be able to see things as it really was, and not just that short view, that tunnel vision where you can only see the street that you're driving on. And when they looked at the aerial view, they saw how they were the ones who was bringing the conflict. They decided that, chasing after money, thinking that was going to be the be all and the end all, they realized that's not it at all. Not even close. This person knew that it was because of choices that they made. Choices that they can still make to turn things around for them. Because they ain't turning nothing around for you. This person had to realize that, you know what, everything that they thought that they was doing to get at you, they was actually doing it to get at them. Every time they thought that they was taking something away from you, they only took it away from themselves. How they thought that they was getting at you, they was only getting at them. They was just making it so that it didn't hurt them that day, that they was letting it build up to hurt them on this day. When they got this, when they had, they just knew that it was in line for this blessing, only to find out when they got there, no, because of all that shit that they had done before, that blessing was plucked. Somebody realized they weren't being smart at all. Not at all. In fact, if anything, they was acting stupid. They was acting blind. They was acting like they had no wisdom whatsoever, like they didn't know any better. And now this person is trying to figure out what they can do so that they don't get themselves caught up, so that they don't get themselves in spiritual jail, so that they don't block their own blessings. Now somebody's trying to figure out what they can do, and it's like this person is thinking back now. Now they're using their logic. Now they're using their brain to think back of everything that they did in the past and how it's going to come back on them. They have to atone for everything that they did. There's nothing that you can do to get off scot-free. Every action is going to have an equal or harsher reaction. There's nothing that they can do to get out of it. All they can do is try to atone for it, to stop the bullshit now, to turn over a new leaf, to start over, and to let all that other bullshit go. Where you think that you doing somebody else wrong, you getting something over, you taking from somebody, you think somebody ain't strong enough, you think they ain't bright enough, you think they ain't smart enough, you think they ain't wise enough to know what the hell you doing. That's the person you need to be afraid of. Because the moment that you think somebody ain't bright enough, strong enough, wise enough, able to see what the hell you doing, that's the person you need to be afraid of, because that's the person that gave it over to God. And God sees it all. Somebody thought that they was just in this pursuit of this money. That's all they wanted was money. How they could half nickel slick somebody, how they could take something from somebody, how they could bring somebody else pain because then they thought that gave them a certain high, made them look a certain way, like I should be the one. No, that's not the person. I'm the one. No. You messing yourself up, sis, dude. Now hey, Latasha, now somebody is curious as to how you got to be as far as you are. Because you know what? You didn't allow money to rule you. You didn't allow this search for clout to dictate how you treated people. You treated people the way that you wanted to be treated. You were that person that went above and beyond. You even did a little extra. Now somebody understands why you can do extra, why you did do extra, why you did give a little bit more, why you did give the shirt off your back, the shoes off your feet, why you chose to give somebody else a bigger portion because you knew they was hungry and you knew that you would be able to eat. Why you did these things. Now someone is realizing, and it's becoming very clear as to why you are winning. How your life is going great because they had this dream, this wake-up call that they are heading south, going 0 to 60. in 3.2 seconds. Hey, Nancy. You know, you are an inspiration to somebody. They never thought that, you know, maybe this person watched you at a younger age be so courageous. You are an inspiration to this person. You know, and it's almost like they felt like, of all people that can wrestle a tiger or a lion or a bear down, of all people that could, you know, go on Jurassic Park and wrestle that biggest dinosaur down, that was you. You was the one who was not afraid. Hey, Robert. Hey, Galactic Goddess. Like I said, somebody got a dream about the way that their life needs to go, about things that they need to do. And this was clear as a bell, how somebody realized that they are in a leadership role. Once they get their shit together, once they cut out everything that doesn't need to be done, once they grow the hell up and rely on God and understand that God gave them that dream for a reason. God showed them that light for a reason. And it wasn't just so that they could wake up and go, that's weird. Anyway, so that they could look at what they was doing, how they was acting, the actions that they was taking, how foolish they are being. God wanted to show somebody how foolish they are being, how they are just throwing their life away because they didn't realize they have a purpose here. That they have, this is their opportunity to do right. They want to make something magical, do it. But God said, invest in yourself. Do some magic in your own life as opposed to trying to do some magic on somebody else. Create something in your own life as opposed to trying to create some havoc in somebody else's life. Worry about the house that you living in instead of sitting there worrying about the neighbor's house across the street or down the street or up the street, someplace that you don't even have any control over, and it ain't none of your business. Like they say, don't throw stones if you living in a glass house. So busy talking about somebody else's life that you can't see how you done fucked up your own life. You sitting there gossiping about what somebody else did, but talk about the stupid shit that you did. That's what you need to be talking about. That's how you need to be living. That's what you need to be doing. I feel like somebody, they like got this message or had this, a part of the dream was about you, about how you nurtured somebody, how you was always celebrating them, how you was always encouraging them and loving on them, making them seem or feel that they could do anything, that they are here for greatness. You know, maybe this is somebody that had a part of the dream of you telling them, you are here to be somebody great. You are a king. You are a leader. You are a queen. You are, you know, somebody that is meant to, your name is meant to be seen for good things, for great things, for fantastic things. Not because of, you're not meant to be infamous. Not for the shit that's tearing somebody else down. Not that shit. The good shit. Hey, Create. Hey, Danny. Somebody really needed to understand that it was time for them to gain some control over this devil that they allowed to run rampant through their entire life. Somebody needed to gain control of themselves, of what they was doing. They needed to explore themselves. Who are you? Go within. Work that shit out. Understand what it is that you're doing. Understand where it is that you need to be. Understand where it is that you came from. Work your shit out. See, somebody thought that, this witch was going to be somebody that gave them everything that they wanted. Somebody that could have got them off the right track and put them squarely on the wrong track. That wasn't the one. Passion is like a match. You strike it, it lasts for a second, then that sucker is gone. And if you let it continue to burn, it's going to burn your fingers. You're going to get hurt. Sometimes you just have to go within. Sometimes you have to use your own intuition for what really needs to be celebrated, for what really is secure. Sometimes the best thing, it don't always look so passionate. It's not wearing the bells, the whistles, the designer clothes. Sometimes the best thing for you is just wearing the no brand jeans. The shoes that came from Kmart. The glasses that look old and outdated. The shirt that you can see is clearly thin because you can see parts of it where it's just worn, but it's still clean. Somebody needs to leave those ways today. Not tomorrow, today. Because they had a wake-up call that if they don't, everything that they thought that they had, they will no longer have. Somebody realized they need to start thinking clearly. They need to start looking at what victory truly is and what it's not. And the way that they were going, that wasn't victory. That was called misery. The way that what they was doing to other people, thinking that they getting a leg up. When you step on somebody else, that's not a leg up. They had to make a decision that this message, that this dream that they received truly is just that, a wake-up call. That it's time for them to go to the beat of their own drum. Stop following the crowd. Stop leaning so heavy on the devil. And understand that, wake up to realize that you're only deceiving self. You're not deceiving anybody else. You definitely ain't deceiving God. That relationship that was there for you for so long, you need to look at that. You need to look at where you went wrong. What are some of the things that you should have learned from that relationship? And who you should have learned it from. See, some people have a problem. Some people have a problem feeling like somebody else is on top of them. Somebody else knows more than them. So they don't want to hear nothing because they got a problem. A problem with authority. And that's not even to say that somebody has authority over them. It's just showing that somebody may have already been there. They may be an authority on that type of situation. They may be an authority on those types of people. They may be an authority on what not to do. so that you can concentrate on what you need to do. But some people have problems with that. No offense, men, but sometimes men feel it impossible to listen or take the advice or the guidance or the wisdom or the knowledge from a woman. No offense. But we have to realize it's not that vessel, it's the message. That's what we need to think about. The message, not who it's coming from. Somebody knows that they need to turn things around with you quickly. They need to do a whole 180. They need to have some type of communication going out. They need to respond. They need to react. They need to wake up. They need to do something to get their life back on track. Because whatever they've been doing before, whatever they've been doing up to now, it has been missing the mark each and every time. Missing the mark. What's the message, Spirit? Yeah, when you have a dream that says that, you know what, it starts off all good and gravy, and then you wake up like damn near in tears, that's something that you need to pay attention to. That's something that you need to ask yourself, what am I doing that I need to change? Don't just sit there and go, that was weird. Let me get up and get myself ready for work. No, you need to sit there and you need to think about that for a moment. You need to let that dream ruminate and resonate. You need to think about who you've been working with. Who you've been working with, what you've been doing. And is it that you feel strong, or do you feel like you're being bullied to work with these people, to go along, to get along? You know, and are you afraid of karma? Are you afraid of the truth? What is it that you're really afraid of? Looking at yourself? Because quiet as it's kept, what you're doing is not going to get you anything. It's not going to get you what you think that you want. And it's not going to get you what you really, truly need. Somebody needed to let that ruminate, resonate, and everything else so that they could understand that it's time to end some bullshit. It's time to put away the toys, especially if you're older than the age of 18. It's time to put away those toys. I didn't mean to put those cards back in there, but I did. What's the message, Spirit? Yeah. See, somebody's thinking about before they got themselves in a position, whenever they felt free, you know, and then all of a sudden they stopped thinking logically. They stopped thinking for themselves. And this is what happened when you stop thinking for yourself. You thought that they was going somewhere else where somebody was going to do all the thinking for them. And all that person did was lead to conflict. That was it. They wasn't thinking for themselves. And they thought that they was going to get this money. They didn't get a damn thing. They didn't get a damn thing. All they did was get judged by everything that they put out in the world. That was all they did. Here they are. That was it. And now this person is in this place where they have only themselves to blame. The conflict, the hardship, is because they chose that decision. They made that decision to do that stupid shit, whatever that stupid shit was. They have themselves to blame. No, not you. And whoever they was hanging around was like, oh, it's all Collective's fault. No, Collective didn't tell you to do that stupid shit. Guaranteed. Somebody always want to blame something on somebody else because they celebrating with the devil. They gave their power away to the devil. They thought that this shit was going to be funny, only to find out they've been lying to themselves for so long about you, about this relationship. They've been deceiving themselves. This shit was not your fault ever. Ever. You made the stupid ass decision. Nobody else. Collector didn't do it. Collector wasn't there. And even if Collector told you to do it, you control your own mind. You can listen to somebody else's advice, but ultimately it is your decision. Ultimately, it is your karma or your dharma. Nobody else's. What's the message, Spirit? What's the message? I don't know why, but just the memory of whenever I was like about 28, and that's when my parents got divorced. And for my mother to call me and tell me it was all my fault. All my fault. What? I live like 45 minutes away. How is it all my fault? That's somebody who is allowing the devil to use them. Who's not taking responsibility of their own life. Who thinks that, pointing the finger, you did it, you did it, you did it, but I wasn't involved in it. See, somebody's not getting what they wanted to get because of the choices that they made. The choices that they made. They chose to, have these burdens put on somebody else whenever it was their decision. How can you blame somebody else for some shit that you did? Somebody needs to go within. They need to heal. They need to heal what's hurting them. Because it's not hurting you. That's what they need to realize. Their hurts are their hurts. You have compassion, you have empathy. You don't want them to hurt, but you don't feel it. So for them to continue to do something against you, they're not actually doing it against you. They're really just doing it against themselves. Somebody needs to work this pain out. They need to understand that, hey, I got to balance out my own life. I can't wait for somebody else to balance it out for me because it's not going to work like that. They have to really understand what maturity is, what responsibility it is, whose responsibility it is. It was time for somebody to have this epiphany. It was time for somebody to have this dream. It was time for somebody to have this prophetic dream about their own life, about how they are stopping their own progression, about how what they're doing, they have to answer to, and how they can turn things around and win. They have to realize that. It's time for somebody to truly go within. Hi, Kinsug Warrior. How are you? And then they have to realize the wisdom and the knowledge that this person has given to them. The respect that that person deserves. How this person, how they need to, make amends. They need to step up to the plate. They need to own their mistakes. They need to be the one that reaches out. That gives that olive branch, not waiting for somebody else. Because waiting for somebody else to do it is going to put an end to everything that they have, that they need to accomplish. waiting on somebody else to right your wrongs. That don't make sense. Stop thinking that life is just a game. Stop thinking it's a game. Stop thinking that you just playing a game with somebody else's life whenever you do some fuck shit to somebody else. It ain't a game. And the shit ain't funny. This shit ain't funny at all. You know, how somebody stabbing somebody else behind their back just for some pocket change, just for a title, just because they want to look like I'm stabbing somebody else in their back because I want to look like I'm all of this. You're not looking like that, sir, ma'am. Not at all. It's when we are diplomatic, when we are doing the right thing, when we are leading with our heart and not our wallet or our ego or our pride or searching for clout. That's when we move forward. That's when God carries us along our path. No other time, no other way. When we are doing the right thing. And only when we are doing the right thing. But we have to be the ones to do it. We can't wait for somebody else to do the right thing for us. That's like tasking somebody else to learn how to tie our shoes. What if that person's not there? And we can't find our Velcros? Then what do? Trip over our own shoelaces? Or do we have to learn to actually tie our own shoes? Just like it's our job to heal ourselves. Instead of waiting for somebody else to come and heal us. That don't make sense. You know? Somebody is feeling like this is somebody that's going to travel to you. They're going to travel to you and they feel like a fool, but they know that they have to be the ones to strike out. They have to be the ones to make that first step. Because they were the ones who deceived you for so long. For so long. With somebody who they should have left the fuck alone. Hey, Miss Grand Marquise, how are you? What's the message, Spirit? Thank you, Kid Sun Warrior. How are you? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Exactly, Robert. Observer 88. Exactly, Observer 88. How are you this morning? What's the message, Spirit? Good. Yeah, somebody is going to make a different decision. I feel like this person wants to be happy. I feel like this person wants to feel good about themselves. They want to make a different decision. They want that wheel of fortune to turn in their favor. They no longer want to feel like they're on the wrong road. The one-way world to hell. What else, Spirit? What else? Yep. Now somebody wants to work with you. They want to work with you because they are curious about you. They're curious about your heart. They're curious about how you just know things. They're curious about how you got to be so strong and so courageous, how you were not afraid to tackle and beat the dog shit out the devil. You know, they want to find out, you know, how you can manifest, how you manifest whatever it is that you put your mind to. You know, how you was able to balance everything out. And for, you know, and how you became so stable, you know, and then how did you know? How in the hell did you know? How do you know what you know? You know, how you very spiritual. It's like you may even be psychic. They want to know, how do you know these things? You don't know. That's what God shows you. It's not like you go searching. It's just that God shows you which way you need to go, and you follow the God's direction. They want to work with you. They want to find out, how do you know all of these things? It's called obedience. You're being obedient to the Most High. Bottom of the deck, the Empress. You're not fighting against the world. You're fighting to be a better you. You know, and it's almost like you remember the times back before you became the Empress, whenever you was kind of a little wild and out and everything else, but then you decided that you needed to work on yourself. And it was during that time of you being in the forest alone, working on self, that's whenever you was able to open up all your chakras. That's whenever you was able to understand, oh, this is what God's voice sounds like. Understanding that it's a whisper. It's not a loud boom. It's not somebody shouting. It's not like it's that whisper. It's that little part in you that says, go this way. And you're not doubting it. You're just doing it. See, somebody else thought that, you was just putting on a show, that you was just doing some shit. You was just acting, you wilding out. Doing this shit, and you just happen to be lucky doing it. No. Hold on, y'all. Hey, Daddy.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. Hey, let me give you a call right back. I'm on live right now.
Okay.
All right, bye now. I should have told him to tell everybody hello. See, they sad right now because they didn't give you your flowers. Yep, I am probably one of the only almost damn near 60-year-olds still calling him daddy. That's all I know. Somebody's upset they didn't show you your flowers. They didn't give you your flowers. They didn't give you props. And now they're seeing how they left themselves out in the cold. How they stopped their own blessings. They didn't stop nothing from you. And now this person is doing their research. They're looking at the path that they were on. They're looking at where they went wrong. I feel like that's what somebody is thinking about. Oh, now I see it. Because they're taking that aerial view. See them up in the sky? They're looking down. They're taking the aerial view, realizing that this is where I went wrong. This is why I'm having so much problems. Because they realized that all those friends weren't friends. They were just hidden enemies. They're realizing that they put themselves in the matrix. They're realizing that they started fighting for clout, knocking everybody else out just for some fucking clout, only to knock everybody out to find out that clout don't even really fucking exist. They thought that they was going to win at something. And what they won at was thinking, damn, how did I even miss the whole mark? I fought everybody and missed the mark. Now they're realizing that, you know what? They have a bigger purpose here. And it ain't to fight. It ain't to miss the mark. It ain't to bamboozle somebody. It's not to do that dog fuck shit. It's not to make somebody else miserable. It's not to cut somebody else down. It's not to step on somebody else so that you can think that you got a leg up. They realizing that, you know, if they want to be happy, if they really truly want to be happy, they got to make some different decisions here. They got to look at what they're doing, not just go by the seat of their pants. Oh, Ayana. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, many hugs, Ayana. You know, somebody really has to realize that sometimes, you know, if they want to be this type of stand-up person, if they want to have, you know, the riches and the glory and the gold and everything else, that they're going to have to use some faith. That they're going to have faith, and not just in God, but also faith in what somebody else is telling them. Somebody that they feel is less than. But they only to find out that person is not even less than. That person is actually has more experience or more knowledge or more wisdom than what they ever thought. If they want to move forward in life, they're going to have to protect themselves from certain groups that are not meant for them. They're going to have to realize that. And most of all, they're going to have to work on their own brokenness. That's nobody else's job to fix them. It's their job to fix themselves. What you told them was the truth. It may have come out sounding really rough, but it was the truth. That sage advice sounds rough, sounds mean, but it's the truth. And somebody has to stop just taking what somebody else says as law. They have to realize that people gossip, people lie, people spread rumors. And it's for them to not listen to all that shit. To use their heart. What's the message, Spirit? What's the message? And don't forget about their strength. We all have that strength to handle whatever it is that we need to handle. We all have it. So that we can make those correct judgment calls that affect only us. We're not hurting anybody else. We're only hurting us. It's time for somebody to go ahead and take that plunge, to move forward, to heal themselves so that they can be who God needs them to be. And remember that this is a spiritual war that we're in. If you're not healed, if you're not prepared, if you're not ready, if you're not awake and aware and open, you're going to fail and fall every single time. Are you ready to give your life, your soul, your happiness, your joy, your peace to the devil? Or can you stand up and fight and do what's right? Sometimes doing what's right does not necessarily mean that we only think of ourselves. That means that we have to think of somebody else too. How is what we're doing affecting them? And then on the flip side, how is it what they're doing affecting us? Let's not live in these confirmation. Let's not live in these glass houses trying to throw stones, trying to lie on people, trying to manipulate somebody else because we want. Somebody's creating, they realize they are now in the perfect storm for themselves so that they can go ahead and change. They can do the necessary changes for themselves. Confirmation. What's the message, Spirit? Yes, somebody needs to speak up. They need to speak up. They need to be the one to make that first step and put a stop to all the bullshit. They need to check themselves as opposed to trying to check you. See, this person had to realize they was living in an altered reality. And they should have did their research, which would have helped them from jumping off a cliff due to an illusion. And they need to listen whenever you was trying to share your story. Because you sharing your story was going to give them the blueprint or the map of where to go and what to stay away from or what not to do to get trapped, to get caught up, to be bamboozled, to be lied to be made a fool of. Because see, the devil don't like nobody. And the devil don't care about nobody. None of us. Absolutely, positively, none of us. And the moment that you start thinking that you somebody special, that the devil care about you, is the same time that you prove yourself to be a damn fool. See, the devil fights dirty. That's why you have to finish it. Anything else, Spirit? And Satan thinks you're dumb anyway. Anytime you go with what the devil says to do, Satan's like, oh, you are so dumb. Let's go ahead and swing the pendulum. Then I got to jump on and do my straight 8. All right, Spirit, what is the way? What is the message? What's the answer this morning? It's actually going around in a circle. I feel like this is somebody deciding to turn their life around. Because it's actually going around in a circle. All right, y'all. Yeah, it's still going around in a circle. It's just getting to be a bigger circle. Yep, I feel like somebody's deciding to turn their life around. Hey, Alicia Heyman, how are you? Hi, Original. All right, y'all. Thank you so very much. I love you all. I hope to see you this evening. Hopefully this will be a light day for me at work. Let's cross our fingers. Have a wonderful morning and afternoon. I love you all. Bye now.